Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Let's do some review on the stock performance. This is the heat map from the Finviz, and here you can see the S&P 500 companies performance from months to date, and you can see it's a totally opposite image to what we've seen when I made one of the previous videos, buy or run, just a few weeks ago. It was already except energy sector. Now it's opposite, and you can see the stocks gained a lot, especially the semiconductors. Some of them gained 50+%, like Intel. By the way, Intel reports next week. Now obviously we've got fear and greed index also in a totally different condition. 2 or 3 weeks ago it was in extreme fear, almost extreme fear sector. So now people willing to buy stocks. As the earnings season already started, and usually the big banks open the season, and as you can see that the consumer spending is quite strong, that people are still buying, though pinched by gas prices. Then corporate activity is rising. Mergers and acquisition and deal making are back in a big way. That's a good sign for the economy. Yeah, we've got concerning status of the inflation just because of recent spike in the oil prices, and the credit quality also a bit cautious because banks are setting aside more cash for bad loans. Next, what was important from the earnings for me personally? I'm following how the trend in AI is going, and one of the major players in this sector is Taiwan Semiconductor company. This is the main maker of the chips. They make chips for the NVIDIA, for the AMD and other companies. And so they released their earnings results, and they had a great quarter. They also updated their future outlook. So the quarter 2 guidance, that now revenue is expected to climb even higher to between 39 and 40 billion dollars. And the management raised full year growth guidance to above 30% in US dollars terms. So the company is doing great, which means that we will most likely see the great numbers for the companies like NVIDIA, AMD, Broadcom, etc. Then also ASML reported recently. ASML is a Dutch company which makes actually the machines for making these chips. And again, the results show the significant bounce back, with the company raising its full year outlook as AI infrastructure demand outpaces supply. So we are still, by we I mean the companies involved into the AI build out, the data center build out, they are still compute constrained, so they need as much chips as possible. And we can see it from these two big companies, two important companies reports, that the demand is really high. And again, the guidance was updated, that the revenue expected between 8.4 and 9 billion, and full year raised sales outlook to 36 to 40 billion, up from previous estimates. So it means that the trend is alive, and it's probably gonna be for the next few years, according to what I see in the earnings report. Then next week is also full of earnings, but for me personally, I'll be closely watching few companies. Also Intel would be nice to see the numbers, but for me it's already more or less enough with TSMC and ASML. but what I'm gonna be looking at is Now or ServiceNow company. This is the SaaS space player, and they are going to report one of the first ones from the SaaS space, and it's gonna be, I think, a major indicator if it's a still so-called SaaS apocalypse or not. As you can see, this is the IGV ETF. This is the ETF where all the major SaaS companies are involved, and ServiceNow is one of the top 10 companies, which forms, I think, roughly about 4% of this ETF. And as you can see, the software companies for the last less than half a year, they lost about 36%. Yeah, they recovered slightly in the previous weeks, but still they're very weak stock wise, and we will see what the numbers will tell us and what's the outlook for the company. Also, it will be German representative from this space, SAP, and also we will have a look at some big companies that will be able to tell us how the other economy sectors are doing. 3M is big, then American Express, General Electric, AT&T, Boston Scientific. All of them will tell us a bit about the economy conditions and how the oil price shock, if it's already giving some impact or not. Yeah, as I say, SaaS apocalypse is still ongoing, and while S&P and Nasdaq are taking all-time high points, the IGV is still very low. So I'd like to see ServiceNow to triple beat this time, and it might give a great boost to the other SaaS companies. And for those who follow my channel, you know probably that one of my positions is the small Danish company Cadeler, which is energy player. The company has 10 built ships already, which install and deliver the wind turbines. They install them offshore, and you won't see this information in their webpage. So I took the post from the LinkedIn. They had already have a naming ceremony for the brand new vessel, which is called Wind Ace. I think it's 95-96% they mentioned already, and soon she'll be going for the project, and it means that the company will have already 11 ships, and this is the biggest player in the wind energy space, and I bet big on this company during the next at least 5 years. And the company has already plans for building another 2 ships by 2030-31, if I recall it right. And also, just a reminder, the company has already fully booked 2027, which tells us quite a lot. Alright, that was a quick recap of the previous week, and we had a look a little bit in the next week coming. On the macro side, there is nothing big going on except the Middle East conflict, and I hope they will manage to have a deal. But again, as I say, this is nothing we can control, and I can just hope they will do it right and the Strait of Hormuz will be open again. Okay, guys, have a great day and the rest of the week. Please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you want to support what I do here. Thank you. I'll see you later.